So for the past year, I've been trying to find a way to make people speak up more. It all started at the beginning of ninth grade when I encountered the idea of Humans of New York, a photography project presenting human stories. When I was asked to do a project inspired by the idea in journalism class, I used this opportunity to try to present the staff in a realistic manner that conveyed them as humans beyond their jobs, with the intent to bring awareness among students and change their perception of the hierarchy in ASB. Unfortunately, my last research was inconclusive because I wasn't able to get any realistic information from the custodians, the cafeteria staff, or the guards. But that failure offered me advice that helped me succeed in my current project. Only after reviewing the previous interviews one more time, I realized how often the staff eluded questions that challenged their assertivity, and lacking the tools to express their opinions, they chose to stay quiet. That's how I found my subject. In order to collect useful data on when and how assertivity is ineffectively taught in Romanian school, I put together a study group made out of 10 teachers and 10 students, half from ASB and half from the Romanian schools. My goal was to identify when assertivity is learned, so I asked,
no, I wasn't. Not at all.
Yeah, I think personally I'm pretty assertive.
I do not think I was assertive as a student.
Yeah, for the most part.
No, I never.
Da, mă consider o persoană asertivă.
I wouldn't say that I was very assertive as a high school student.
I do consider myself a pretty assertive person.
No, as a student, I don't think I was overly assertive.
I consider myself a pretty assertive person and also open to ideas in general.
Știu cu siguranță că am avut grijă întotdeauna să protejez sentimentele altora.
I believe that sometimes I am assertive, but not always.
while teachers do not believe they were assertive, students are confident in their assertiveness. When being asked to explain their lack of assertiveness as students, teachers offered 3 types of motivations: social pressure.
In my place, I grew up in a rural area that was still a little bit backward in its ideology, its social ideology. We knew the right things to say, but that doesn't mean that we quite believed them all yet.
Then genetics.
There is something in my genes, so I don't know.
And lastly, bullying.
Well, I was bullied a lot in school, and so actually being bullied and schools, you're bullied, okay? It used to be, if you're bullied, suck it up, and nothing much used to be done about it.
One argument used by all Romanian teachers were genetics. This mentality wasn't present among ASB teachers though. When asked about the ethics of the American educational system, one teacher said that,
"In my education in the United States, we were certainly taught about advocating for ourselves."
We had some very wonderful male and female teachers who were very positive about everybody having an opinion and expressing opinion.
And we were certainly taught about thinking critically and speaking up against injustices. That was a big part of our education.
I'm sure that they made a difference in that I knew in my heart that it was okay to have opinions.
assertivity being implemented first by the system influenced the way students viewed themselves, and it eventually brought societal change.
It's the people, it's society. Societies change intellectually much faster than they change in practice. And it takes a long time for those things to become culturally ingrained.
Here's where the change occurred between ASB and the Romanian mentality. Teachers that studied during the communism era in Romania remember,
The school didn't encourage assertiveness at all. On the contrary, we were supposed to be submissive.
that mentality persists today and is felt by Romanian students who feel like
we don't really have that opportunity with our educational system, because there's a lot of pressure on respecting the hierarchy, which that places the teachers and their wants and needs at the top. Afterwards are your parents, and then at the bottom of the chain, it's the students.
a recurring idea in my interviews with teachers coming from a westernized educational system was the importance of role models. Naturally, teachers nowadays try to become role models as well, only that they don't know how.
Never like had a direct lesson on like be assertive, but I think those are sort of things that I don't know.
I don't teach them. I don't know a way to teach them. I actually don't know how I would do that.
Nonetheless, teachers still try their best.
I like to feel that I foster an environment where students feel safe to give their opinions.
I try.
If it doesn't encourage, at least it doesn't discourage students to be assertive.
One answer stood out to me. So many examples of open-minded teachers, though something makes the difference between this.
To be perfectly honest, we don't really have that opportunity with our educational system, because there's a lot of pressure on respecting the hierarchy that places the teachers and their wants and needs at the top. Afterwards are your parents, and then at the bottom of the chain it's the student.
And this.
Like for them, maybe they don't actually realize like the impact it has on us, but when you realize like, oh, like they actually want to help you out and things like that, that's good.
And it is this approach.
So I really encourage students to like seek extra help or come speak to me in the office.
It fits perfectly with a student's needs, who said,
I think it's really great when a teacher like pulls you aside because they understand something's wrong and they pull you to the side and like really make sure that you're being the best student you can possibly be. I think that's very important.
This shows that a part of the education implemented in the American system over 40 years ago has finally succeeded. Unlike in Romania, where students are hesitant to be assertive to their teachers because they are intimidated by them.
Profesorii mereu zic că dacă avem întrebări să zicem, dacă avem ceva de adăugat, dacă avem o observație, dacă n-am înțeles ceva să zicem. Asta depinde și de elevi și de disponibilitatea lor. Adică, da, ni se spune asta, dar nu e doar despre profesori.
There is still hope though. Teachers in the Romanian system can access a course called
Starea de bine, o călătorie conștientă a profesorului și în care învățăm și tehnici pe care să le aplicăm asupra noastră și asupra elevilor.
in which they learn about assertiveness. Alongside teachers, the school has the duty to support and teach students to be assertive. When asked, does AASB support assertiveness in students? Teachers make a great distinction between assertivity and aggressivity. The difference is seen as
Aggression and assertiveness are often conflated to be the same thing, and I don't think they are. And aggression is not always a bad thing, but it often is, especially if it's a more powerful entity being aggressive toward a less powerful entity for the more powerful's gain. Assertiveness could be the lesser power pushing back.
and many teachers highlight the equal existence of qualities and bad aspects in AASB's approach.
I think that for the most part, the faculty and staff support that.
So I think the school does put a special emphasis as to how to make students more assertive.
The student body, I'm not 100% sure.
What I think we're working towards is establishing real methods of, then again, cause and consequences, so students understand how to read the nuances of register and communicate their decisions more effectively.
The system is equally praised and criticized by students too, who, in response to the question, is assertiveness taught effectively in AASB, answer.
I mean, I think it's taught effectively, but I think that maybe just kind of realizing that there's like different types of people in the school could be more beneficial to making sure it's more effective, because I mean there's people that you can teach it to and that will actually do it, but those people that don't really like to share it, you know, then just saying, oh, stand up for what you need isn't helpful.
On the other hand, the Romanian system is criticized by the students who feel like
I didn't hear anything about it in the school. Nobody actually sat down to teach us stuff like that.
one recurring aspect that Romanian students criticize is the strict expectations of school that affect their independence.
The main problem is the teachers and what they expect from the students. They should understand that different people have different needs and they should help the student to achieve their goal instead of just following a makeshift agenda that they were taught when they were in school.
Ironically, an ASB teacher criticized the American system from over 20 years ago for the same issue.
It wasn't like a system set up. It was more like you come in and this is what is for everybody, like the cookie cutter model. And if you don't fit it, I was a good student, so it was okay, to be honest, for me, but I know others didn't.
The good news is that students, like teachers in the Romanian system, are finding new ways to develop assertivity where the system is lacking.
The fact that we are pretty oppressed as students made us want to develop the skill to be assertive in a conversation. Because of the oppression that you face in school, you are more determined to learn these skills so that you can break the chain.
Overall, living systems are bound to grow and develop, sometimes to their advantage and sometimes not. Throughout this process of exploring these two totally different education systems, I was shocked to discover that they are actually not that different. They're just at different levels of development. Both of them struggle with the same dynamic between aggressiveness and assertiveness, and try to find the best approaches to teach students that
being assertive in and of itself is neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It's valueless, and it's about what a person's being assertive about that determines whether or not assertiveness is a good thing.